And thank you for having me. So again, my name is Stephanie Adams. I'm with Riverside County Workforce Development. We're actually a department within the County of Riverside, and I actually prepared just a quick PowerPoint that I can email you guys at the end of the session. It has my contact information as well as the address of our locations. And so it's actually just a quick presentation, and let me share my screen. Can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, let me put it in. There we go. Okay, so the first slide, you have my contact information. The phone number is my direct line as well as my email. Feel free to give my contact information out to anybody. Once we go through the presentation, if you have any community members or businesses that you think our services would be of help to them, definitely share this information. The below address is actually where my office is located in Riverside. And we'll go on to the next slide. Okay. So in Riverside County Workforce Development, we have 3 career resource areas as of right now and 1 access point. We're located in Riverside, Hemet, Indio, and Moreno Valley. The picture that you see in the background is actually our Riverside location, and these are our public computers that are available to the community at any time. And on our next slide, we'll go into the services that individuals and community members can receive if they visit one of our centers. Okay. So typically in each of our career resource areas, we have over 30 public computers, and that's where residents of Riverside County can come in at any time. They can use our computers to, if they want to draft a resume, they need to use Microsoft Word. You know, maybe they need to send emails to potential employers or search for jobs. As of right now, during the pandemic, walk-ins are welcome. You can see I have a little asterisk next to that, and that's just because we still have to keep social distancing in mind. And so if we get too full and people come in, then we'll have to, we ask them to come back at a specific time. But as of right now, walk-ins are completely open, and we really haven't had to turn anybody away. We have staff on site that can assist community members that come in. If you know of somebody that needs our assistance and they say, not really good with computer, I don't know how to save my resume yet or print it. Those are all, perfectly normal scenarios that come up, and we have staff on site that are available to help them through those things. As part of our career services, we also have experienced career coaches that are here to assist, and I'll go into a little bit more detail of what our career coaches can do for some of our job seekers. A lot of times we have community members and job seekers that come in and they don't even have a resume at all. Sometimes they've been disconnected from the workforce for various reasons for several years, and they say, I don't really even have any skills that I can put on a resume. 90% of the time, or actually I would say 100% of the time, that's not accurate. We can always find things that they've done. Maybe it's volunteer work, a hobby, and we can help them translate those skills into a resume. A lot of times people have never been on a job interview, or if they have, they say I've gone on 3 and for whatever reason I keep getting passed over. So we'll help them practice for an interview and prepare for those things that are definitely not easy to do. Our career coaches also specialize in job placement. So a lot of times community members, job seekers, they'll come in and they say, I was just laid off, my business closed. Here's what I was doing before. Here's, what I really like to do. Here's where my skills are. But, here's where I live. And, because of, my home commitments, commuting's not an option. And so they're really knowledgeable of what job openings are in the areas, what the labor market looks like, who's hiring, what the hourly rate is. And then also we have funds and services where we can enroll residents into vocational training. We can actually pay up to $8,000 for community members to further their education. So sometimes, what that looks like is a job seeker will come in, they say, I've been laid off. I was working in the manufacturing sector. I was working in construction, but I really want to specialize in plumbing or HVAC or, machine operations. We have funds that we can help them further their education and enroll them into those services. And we also have, I put wraparound services, and what that means is a lot of our job seekers, community members that we come across, you know, finding a job is not the only thing that they need help with. They say, you know, I've been unemployed for 3 or 4 weeks now. I was laid off and I'm behind on my utilities, or, you know, I just don't have the funds yet to buy a car. So we actually can connect them to other services that can help them, you know, with back utilities, help connect them to public transportation, and those oftentimes barriers that we sometimes take for granted, but, you know, are really causing a hardship for one to find job placement. Okay, going on to the next slide. Okay, and the second part of what we do is we actually, we serve the business community. And so we have a couple of programs that are designed to help employers. And our first one is on the job training. And with that program, we can reimburse 50% of an employee's wages up to 480 hours. And what that is for a business to hire somebody new. And they hire somebody, and let's say, they say, you know, I need 80 hours to train them in this specific skill set. This person has everything that I need, just this one thing is missing. So we can reimburse 50% again of the wages for the employer to provide that training. It's a really great program for employers because what it does is it helps offset some of those costs that can be highly cumbersome to train new staff. Some of the qualifications for this program is it has to be a high demand occupation and a full-time position. If you have any employers that you know of that are interested in this program, again, just give them my number. We'll set up an appointment to meet with them and we can go over more in detail our programs and specifically how they work. Another program is the Expanded Subsidized Employment Program, and that is where we can reimburse 50% of wages for up to 6 months. That one is for a minimum of 20 hours a week. And the referrals for this program, or the employees that the employer has to hire, have to come from the Department of Public Social Services. And so that's also another option. Again, it's long-term, up to 6 months, and so that's pretty desirable to some of our employers out there. So the team that oversees these two programs is actually our business solutions team. And so we have business solutions counselors that are pretty much the jack of all trades when it comes to helping businesses. And some of the other things that they do are like virtual and in-person recruitments. We actually just purchased a virtual job fair platform. And so community members can attend job fairs online, almost like just joining Zoom. It's really easy, user-friendly. So if you know of any, again, employers that are interested in us hosting a job fair for them, or any chambers, feel free again to give them my number. We can also help employers do employee screening. A lot of times employers, you know, when they have job postings, they'll get hundreds of resumes at a time and they need help going through all that. It just takes a lot of time. Sometimes employers, you know, require pre-testing, like a typing test. We can help them, you know, administer those services also. And we are this week actually launching an online job board for Riverside County, where employers can also post their job openings. Again, it's super user-friendly. If you know, employers, I understand, are busy right now, so if they don't have the time to do that, they can contact us and we can post their job postings for them. And that's it for that slide. So moving on to the next one. So this is actually my last slide, and on this one I listed our locations, and these are the career resource areas that I spoke about in the beginning of the presentation. There's the addresses of each site as well as the direct telephone number for each location. Those numbers are really good for job seekers that just want to call us and say, you know, I want to schedule an appointment to speak with a career coach, or I just want to make sure you're open because I want you to come in to use the computer really fast. And then there's also our website. So that actually concludes my slides, and I know we went through that kind of fast, so at this time I would just like to leave it open, you know, to any specific questions that you guys might have for me.
Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie?
I do. The vocational training that you do, I'm a real advocate of vocational training for you know, students that are getting out of high school, and you know, the pressures that are put on kids today to go to college, go to college, go to college. And some people just aren't, people will go to college and kids will get in there and, they'll flounder. And even after they get a 4-year degree, they still don't know what they want to do in life. And so there's a thing we do with our kids through the RILA program, which is the Rotary Youth Leadership Award Camp, where we get like 350 kids at a time up there. And a lot of the kids are so stressed out because, and these are all 11th graders. So they're about a year away from, getting out of high school, and they don't have a clue as to what they want to do. And so I said, well, what are, I kind of ask them questions like, what is your interest and things like that. And they go, well, I like working with my hands. I said, well, okay, well then, maybe you should look into like a vocational school instead of, the traditional college type thing. So I think my question, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but I'm sure I would like to find out what kind of vocational training that is available to these kids.
That's a good question, Mark, and that really is something that we see too. A lot of kids, they come out of high school, again, they don't know what it is that they want to do. There's actually, hundreds of training providers that we work with in all different sectors. And so that's a good opportunity for, community members to come in and speak with a career coach, because they'll start with questions just like you said. What is it that you like to do? Well, I really like to work with my hands. I don't want a job sitting behind a desk. I want something where I can be outside. And then they can kind of help them go from there and narrow it down of what their desires and interests are. The good thing about coming in and working with a career counselor is that they can also tell them who the training providers are in certain fields that they're interested in, and they can go tour the schools themselves. So when they come in to meet with us, it's really no pressure. It's not like, oh, you meet with a career coach on a Thursday, by 7 days you have to decide what it is that you want to do. They can come in, meet with us, and then do their research and take their time also. So that's a good way to start. We also have youth opportunity centers located throughout the county. The closest ones to Temecula would be Paris and Lake Elsinore, and that's also really good opportunities for youth to visit. Each center has different programs, but they can also connect youth to training options and internship programs also.
Okay, well, thank you.
I got a question.
Just to be clear, anybody from Riverside County can go to any of these locations, because my son just graduated high school early. So he's just like completely floundering about what he wants to do. And honestly, my wife has been thinking about getting back into the workforce, but she's been looking for a way to get like some kind of idea about like what she wants to do when she grows up too.
That's a good question. I know we all feel like that sometimes. Yes, anybody in Riverside County can come to visit one of our centers. What I would do is if you have somebody that really wants to sit down and discuss options with a career coach, I would have them call the number of the location that they want to visit and ask to make an appointment with a career coach. Now, for our funds to enroll into our programs and to utilize vocational training, because we are working with federal funds, there are income qualifications and an application process that somebody has to go through. And the career coaches, will help through that. But if somebody doesn't, let's say income qualify for the training, that doesn't mean that they still can't come in, use our centers. We can help them, on the computer, help them build a resume, glance at it, things like that.
Okay. I just want to tag on to like what Mark's question. He talked about our youth, and you said something about the youth centers. What ages do you guys have for the youth programs?
So the
Like,
youth
where does that
programs
start?
are 16 to 24. And then for our services are at our career resource areas are 18 and over.
18.
Okay. And then do you have any specific services for like veterans as well?
We do. That's a great question. So we actually have a grant right now that specifically targets veterans.
Targets what?
Veterans.
Yeah. And we also have another grant that actually works with individuals that are exiting incarceration.
Huh.
Thank you.
Sorry, John. Thank you so much.
Hey, I have a question. It went by too fast for me. I'm sorry, Stephanie, but your email address is sjadams@rivco.com.
.org, O-R-G.
Org. Okay, thank you.
I'll leave it in the comments too.
And you'll also send us the PowerPoint?
Yes, I will.
That'd be great. So we are able to share it with our members as well. Anyone else have any questions for Stephanie?
That was really interesting. I had no idea.
I think Jimmy might have a question.
Unmute yourself, Jimmy.
Unmute yourself, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you're muted.
How did you find all those jobs for placement? Is there any like company or employer approaching you to provide you, say, yeah, our company will need such personnel or such workforce?
Yes. So our business solutions team gets contacted daily from employers throughout the county that are hiring, and they rely on us to help them build their candidate pool. And so we do that from job seekers that come into our centers that are working with our career coaches.
Were there any conflict with those temporary agencies?
I'm sorry?
Is there any conflict with those temp agencies?
So we get contacted by temp agencies quite a bit. And what we do, if a temp agency is hiring, we'll actually post their flyers in our career resource areas for them.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Stephanie, do our Riverside County tax dollars pay for this, or is this state funded, or what?
It's federal funds that trickle down to the state and then the local level.
Good questions, everybody. Thank you so much. If we don't have any further questions for Stephanie, thank you, Stephanie. That was very informative, and you're always welcome to join us on Tuesdays at 7:30.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.